and welcome to Lagos Update on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. This program highlights the activities of the Lagos State Governor and other state events. I'm Adeola Akindele. In the highlights of the program today, Governor Sanwo-Olu inaugurates 250-seater lecture hall at Lagos State University of Education, Ijanikin. Plus, Lagos State Government to set up Tertiary Education Trust Fund. This and more after this timeout. We'll begin today with the story. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu on Sunday inaugurated a 250-seater lecture hall donated by Oloto of Oto-Awori Kingdom, Oba Josiah Aino, to the newly upgraded Lagos State University of Education in Ijanikin, Badagry Division. Governor Sanwo-Olu, while felicitating with the monarch on the occasion of his 15th coronation anniversary, said the facility would complement those being built on the campus by the state government as part of the projects initiated after the school was upgraded from College of Education to a university. The governor also said Lagos, as a big city with a high population of young people, is being underserved by one university, necessitating the need to raise the standards of LASPOTEC and Adeniro Ogunsoya College of Education, elevating them to raise human capital.
I'm indeed excited that I've come to felicitate with you today, to say to you that your government will do everything to ensure that the real dividends of democracy comes to your land. We're not just doing development in other parts of the state. We're ensuring that development is also coming to Badagry Division.
Also on Sunday, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu described the Nigerian youth as the future of the world and urged them to take charge of the future. Governor Sanwo-Olu stated this during the year 2022 Children and Youth Harvest Thanksgiving of the Our Saviour's Church with the theme Harvest of Restoration and Divine Satisfaction. Governor Sanwo-Olu admonished the youth to participate actively in different activities that are geared towards nation building, saying leadership is not only achieved when people are elected as governors or president, but from various roles assigned.
You need to know God. You need to worship in the house of God, so that when you become an adult, you'll have equipped yourself with sufficient knowledge of God. Because in the tribulation of life, there will be challenges. But once you know God, once you know how to pray, once you know how to communicate with God, your path will be smooth and you will have several victories along the line.
The governor and his wife, Ibijoke, who were parents of the day for the harvest program, also urged Nigerians to unite, shun division, and make the right choices to create a tomorrow that everybody will be proud of. In a bid to achieve the desired 21st century improved education, there is need to review the curriculum of schools, not only in Lagos, but across all West African countries. Lagos State Deputy Governor Obafemi Hamzat made the submission on Wednesday at the closing of the Education Summit held in Victoria Island, organized by the State Ministry of Education. Hamzat, who stated that the summit was organized to provide solutions to the many challenges confronting the education sector, leveraging technology, and joined all stakeholders to synergize to achieve the feat for the benefit of students who are the future leaders of the country.
So let's come together and give us ideas on, like I said, what next should we do? We've done all this, but we couldn't just rely on doing that alone. So what else? How do we move forward again? And I think that's what this summit is all about. How do we make sure that every child that goes through our educational system comes out better, and that they are more productive in their thinking and in their attitude towards life?
On her part, the Vice Chancellor of the Lagos State University, LASU, Ibiyemi Olatunji Bello, who was represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Ijanikin urged the state government to invest in research to achieve qualitative education in line with the state's 30 years developmental plans to compete favorably with its global counterparts.
It is then up to us, administrators, policymakers, and teachers to channel available resources towards ensuring that our curriculum meets the demands of our current and future society, that our methodologies are relevant and result-oriented, that technology becomes extreme in execution of our pedagogy, and that we ourselves upskill to such a level where we can successfully interact with the latest innovations being put in place in classrooms.
In her keynote address, the Ambassador of Education at the Finnish Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Marjana Saul, advocated conducive learning environment and more investment in teachers' capacity to motivate them to change the narrative in the nation's education sector. Earlier, the State Commissioner for Education, Folashade Adefisayo, expressed optimism that the knowledge gained from the Education Summit will be reflected in Lagos to improve the quality of the education sector at all levels. Away from that story, Lagos State Government has warned that Okada operators and passengers risk 3 years in jail if found violating the laws banning their operations, as enforcement of the Phase 2 ban begins in 4 local government areas and 6 LCDAs. Also, the state government has deployed security agencies and the anti-Okada squad to fully enforce the ban on Okada from the 1st of September in all the local councils where commercial motorcycle operators have been prohibited. While addressing journalists on Wednesday on behalf of the anti-Okada squad, the State Commissioner for Transportation, Frederick Oladende, noted that the decision is taken to safeguard the lives and properties of Lagosians.
These interventions are coordinated by the following MDA. The Ministry of Women's Affairs and Poverty Alleviation involve a lot of people in vocational training, and so you can pick up skills and then do some other alternative jobs apart from Okada, which we don't feel is a viable means of livelihood. We have the Ministry of Wealth, Creation and Employment that engage people in internship training. We have the Office of Civil Engagement that also deals with people with special needs.
Oladende hinted that to ameliorate the pains from the ban, the state government has deployed 200 first and last mile buses to the affected local government and local council development areas. Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Gbenga Omotosho, who said the steps taken on Okada operations was in the interest of the residents, urged all stakeholders to support the state government in achieving its aim.
The government is not limited to their devices. We have also said that these first mile and last mile buses, they are free to come and join. We don't expect them to be able to plump down the millions for them to be able to get these vehicles. But they can come in cooperatives and then pay, maybe paid instrumentally and be part of those vehicles ownership scheme.
It will be recalled that the Lagos State Government on the 18th of August 2022 extended the ban on Okada operations in Koshofe, Oshodi Solo, Shomolu and Mushin, while the SCDAs are Ikosi Sherry, Agoyi Ketu, Isolo Ejigbo, Bariga, Odiolowo, as well as all highways and bridges across the state. All is set for the commemoration of the 2022 Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Awareness Month with the theme, It's on Us. The celebration kicked off on Thursday with 10 Alausa Purple Advocacy Walk within the State Secretariat. Speaking earlier at a press briefing ahead the celebration, Lagos State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice Moyosoro Onigbanjo said, since inception, The agency has so far received a total of 4,860 cases via the virtual referral and response service and physical report, which includes domestic violence, rape, lack of parental care, threats to life, sexual assault by penetration, emotional abuse, child neglect and abandonment, among others. He stated that over 150 convictions have been made up to date, while 450 cases of abuse were resolved through counseling. According to Onigbanjo, at the end of the Awareness Month, a change in behavioral mindset, which is critical in preventing sexual and gender-based violence, will be achieved with substantial data gathered regarding the dynamics of domestic and sexual violence and abusers. Policy formulation targeted at preventive measures would also be proposed, and the morals of service providers increased.
As we commemorate our Awareness Month of September with a lineup of programs and activities depicting our intent for coming years. This year's activities is themed It's on Us, and this theme was specifically picked based on the compelling need to ensure that residents of Lagos realize that ending the menace of sexual gender-based violence is indeed a collective effort which requires the support and collaboration of all members of our society.
Other activities lined up for the event include Market Fiesta, Men with Sabi to contribute towards breaking gender stereotypes, Symposium Tales of Survivors, Safeguarding and Child Protection Day, the SVA Awards and Commendation Night. Established in 2014 as the Domestic and Sexual Violence Response Team, the Sanwo-Olu administration on the 20th of September 2021 signed a law upgrading that team into an agency. And finally, on the program today, plan is underway by the Lagos State government to set up Lagos State Tertiary Education Trust Fund to create a sustainable model for funding and researches in its institutions. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu stated this on Thursday after receiving a 322-page report from the chairman of the full visitation panel to the Lagos State University, Professor Abdulrahman Bello, at the Lagos House, Marina. Governor Sanwo-Olu, who thanked the visitation panel for a job well done, said a committee would be constituted within the next 7 days with a 60-day deadline to review all ideas, recommendations made by the visitation panel, and as well come up with a white paper.
I think it's a trust fund that this time has come, and I'm issuing the responsibility to the Attorney General and the Honorable Special Advisor to see how we can birth, that fund, and we can leave a legacy that will outlive our government, that indeed we've been able to put together outside of the TED fund that we have at federal level, that indeed Lagos State can also create a financing model that can ensure the sustainability of our university.
Governor Sanwo-Olu also called for an immediate end to the lingering crisis between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities. ASU noted that the future of youths in the country should not be toyed with.
Unfortunate that almost 200 days into the strike, both parties have not been able to resolve. We are a bit luckier, and we are grateful to the management and to the staff and everybody in our university community, because all the tertiary institutions in Lagos State have not gone on one day without education.
Chairman of the visitation panel to LASU, Abdulrahman Bello, recommended the state government for reviewing the financial, infrastructural and project management of the institution since the last one done in 2009. Said there is a marked difference in the performance of LASU, urging government to sustain the tempo and make funds more available for progress.
Recommendations are quite numerous. The key issues is that we went through all the essentials as required by the terms of reference, and we looked into financial, infrastructural, project management, and all kinds of things, including management of the institution, and we were able to make our own remarks and recommendations in line with the request with terms of reference. The university is doing very well, as we reported, and it has come up from what it used to be. The last vision report was 2009, and so within those periods, we found a marked difference in what the last is today.
Governor Sanwo-Olu inaugurated the 10-member visitation panel last year, November, based on the recommendation of the Professor Bamitale Omole-led LASU Vice-Chancellorship Special Visitation Panel, which was constituted to resolve the issues that trailed the appointment of the university's 9th Vice-Chancellor in the sense its administrative process, academic programs, finances, projects, staff welfare, industrial harmony, progress, and challenges. And with that story, we conclude this week's edition of Lagos Update, a program that highlights the activities of the Lagos State Governor and other state events. You can listen to Lagos Traffic Radio on our website www.trafficradio961.ng and follow us on our various social media platforms: Twitter, Lagos Traffic 961, Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961, Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. On YouTube, subscribe to our channel, Traffic Radio 961. You can download our app, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, from Play Store for more updates. You can also follow me on Twitter at Adiola Akindele1. Thanks to my producer, Babatunde Akinyemi, studio engineer Oyeshola Ola, with support from the social media team. The executive producer is Tayo Akunle. I'm Adiola Akindele. Next week is another date. Stay blessed and stay safe.